let me extend my greetings in Bulisaman all the way in Cape Town. Zubi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I hope that you can hear me loud and clear, right?
Very loud and clear. I
I
can
get
hear you.
That's perfect. Well, Mandus will select man and ask you as well to greet all the listeners in the Abantu Chabama Mele at home. Kababuli Sabantu.
Ooh, hello guys. Hello to everyone that is listening. A special shout out to my parents listening, all my friends, all my loved ones, everyone that I had invited to come and listen, and everyone that is currently listening right now. I just like to say hello and welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, Dikoma, let me not nangayithinti into yokwazisa umntu or izinto kangaka, like, hey, people who are doing the things, making the things to happen, they need to introduce themselves. So can you just please tell people ukuthi ngubani uZubenathi Mkondo before we go to our conversation?
Hectic, but yeah, as Utobani said, my name is Zubenathi Mkondo. I am an aspiring entrepreneur, a digital content creator, a musician, and a speaker. So just a correction, I'm actually not in Cape Town, guys. I'm not in Cape Town. I am in Friedenberg, which is in the Western Cape. It's just about like 2 hours away from Cape Town, but people usually confuse it with it's not the same thing, okay? It's definitely not the same thing. But yeah, I'm a simple person, guys. That's just it.
Okay. I can't engiba uyilibele apha kwezinto ozibizileyo and ke yeyona abantu bakwazi ngayo mna I would suppose uyayazi futhuzi kwasubuyihleke ichazela abantu.
But I did say most that I'm a content creator.
Sasazi sosilungu thina sifuna ukuthi YouTuber.
Yeah, as many people know, okay, I have a YouTube channel, so I am a South African YouTuber. Yes.
Wow. And yeah, guys, I just want to tell you off the bat, Kongo Kukoti, this lady is doing the most, the consistency, the level of excellence in her work, in her YouTube channel. It's too much. Like literally every week you have a video that is coming out. First of all, startup is, the strength to like every week, bro. It's fucking pressure.
God. I don't have any other thing to say. God.
Sure.
God.
Yeah. Like because you're currently working, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, very much.
And how do you then juggle yonke lento lena? It's work this side, it's family and everything else, and then on the side again you have to YouTube, shoot a video. After you shoot a video, you have to edit that video. There's all that, and you have to wait for the next video. How do you just juggle yonke lento le?
I think like it's commitment. When you're serious about something and you really want something, you make time for what is important to you. And as I said, like I give credit to God for everything, because if I would be doing it with my own strength, I definitely would not be able to do it. To be honest with you, I do get tired and I do get motivated almost every day. But I pray about it and God gives me the strength to put out the content, to get that strength when I feel like I don't have it, because I actually do work like long hours, awkward hours, but because I'm very serious about this, and it's more of the content rather than the followers or how many people are viewing it and whatnot, and what is it about. So that keeps me going, and knowing that it is a platform for change and a platform to influence people positively. So let me keep going. Even if people aren't listening now, I know even 10 years later, that message or that video will still be there. And even if it's one person, for me, that's enough.
Wow. So you are more focused on impacting the lives of other people rather than just having a followership and subscribers.
Most definitely.
Wow.
Most definitely.
And I just want to, before we even get into our conversation, guys, if you are listening right now, you have no reason why you should not follow Zobi on her YouTube account. She's currently sitting on 900 and something, right? Followers currently.
988. And so 12 more, guys.
Imagine just 12. Come on, guys, let's do it tonight. You should sleep with 1K followers all the way. It's impossible go to with less than that. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that beautiful intro. Let's get into it. Today we are talking about the impact of media and on when it comes to gender-based violence. And right off the bat, I want to ask you, first of all, do you think that media has any type of influence when it comes to gender-based violence? Because why even continuing and moving forward to talk about this, because I don't even believe that there is a correlation between us and those two. So can you take us through that?
Oh, there is a very much big impact that it has, or correlation that it has, right? I think we can start with the fact that media is an important source of communication. I think we need to understand that part first. And we live in a technological era, Tobani, and we can be connected to anyone and anything around the globe instantly. Yeah, but we see our cell phones, TVs, the computer, the internet have become like a common source of information, I mean, for everyone right now. And we can also say that media is a knowledge system in the sense that it is a source of information and it informs us about what is happening around the world. I mean, now just at a click of your remote, you know what is happening in China, you know what is happening in USA right now at the comfort of your home, you know, at just the click of your phone, which plays a very vital role in our society and ultimately shapes people's mind and how people think and act to a large extent. So we can also say that media is a direct reflection of our society and what they want. Why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? Because media platforms definitely feed off what people are currently interested in. They don't what's this word now? They don't publish things that people won't be interested in. So it's definitely what people are currently interested in. So that's where we can find the term which says sex sells. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
I've heard that.
Sex sells. So I mean, it attracts attention. And I've come to notice as well, Namtuwani, that people are actually sexual beings out there. Hey, like they like sexual content. Like if any, they like sexual content. They're attracted to sexual content. If anything in the headlines has to do with sex, you know that person is going to go and click on it. And it's unfortunate that people are hardwired to notice sexually relevant information. So like adverts with sexual content are the ones that will ultimately get noticed, instead of the ones that like have things that you have to think about, or you know, serious types of adverts. So it's also unfortunate also with that it's more of the women, Tobani, that are shown in a sexual way in the media. Or rather, let me say, that occupy these pages of sex selling advertisements, which also further like objectifies women's bodies, in the way that it creates an image or imagination to men that women's bodies are easily accessible or hold no value. So basically, I think that can be my submission on how like media does actually have an impact, just to support that statement, because it has a really, really big impact on gender-based violence.
Now, I'm just thinking, listening to everything that you have said, perhaps maybe then, aren't we counterintuitive when we fight for, to end gender-based violence, especially against women, because there's a point that you mentioned, Ugoti. This is more towards females, ladies, women that are portrayed in these. That was actually having a conversation the other day with a group of friends of mine, talking about even how you would watch certain music videos. In fact, man, is certain, predominantly most music videos, and you look at how women are being portrayed in those music videos. It's counterintuitive ke ngoku we sisime sithi we are fighting for gender-based violence, but we don't address the media, we don't address izinto ezifana how women are portrayed in the adverts that we watch on TV, in music videos that we watch on TV day to day. Aren't we being counterintuitive when we do that?
We definitely are, because at the end of the day, as much as we can blame media and say that they are the ones that are putting out these things, but we have control over like what we see and what we choose to watch ultimately. And even if you've watched that thing or listened to that thing, you have a choice to be impacted by it, or you have a choice to go forward with that. So we are definitely counterintuitive to that, because we have a choice at the end of the day in whatever influence that we might get, but we have a choice on the next step forward. What do we do with that information? What do we do with what we are seeing? And what do we do with our social media platforms as well?
Well, now the question would be, what do we do? And I know this is this is going to be quite maybe an unfair question to ask. How do we get to this point where we find even in these music videos, it's not men who are posing as women, but it is still ladies who are in those music videos, portraying themselves and playing out a role in something that will portray the community of women in a certain way that fights against what they stand for. If we can ndizofota ndibizwe nangela gama, especially in the hip-hop culture, names that I don't know how did it become normalized in a society to call a woman, and it burns me, because you find these are ladies, these are women, but they are kind of like portraying this narrative to fight against the scourge that we are faced with, which is gender-based violence, especially against women.
Tobani, I think I can say that it's socialization, how we grow, how we're raised. I feel like it's how we are raised. From a very young age. Nati, as women, there's terms like we basically accessories. We belong to the kitchen. We're only there to carry and bear children. And Tina, I don't know. It's how we are raised and how we think we are attractive to men, by showing off our bodies, by showing off. Like, that is how we see attraction. And I think a major part of that is done because of media. And our parents even raising us up. I don't think it is a conversation, Tobani, that we are having even in our homes, even growing up. So that is why we will get this perverted information or way of viewing things from outside, from our society, from our schools, from media, ultimately. So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't really necessarily put the blame on the ladies, but they are the ones that are taking themselves there, because there are things like they need money at the end of the day, and they know. And at the end of the day, as I mentioned before, we know that sex does sell, and it is proven in the study also that out of the 38% of provocative health and hygiene adverts that features models, a whole 31% out of 38 are females in that, and only 7% is males. So lendo isukela kude, it didn't just start like now, and yeah, it's something that we do need to think about, I think. So yeah, it stems it's deeply rooted.
How deep does it run, though? How deep does it run? And perhaps maybe I'm asking this to kind of like get the perspective, Yako, as a female. How deep does it run? The
Yeah.
impact of media when it comes to gender-based violence, and when it comes to even how you as ladies, as females, as women view yourself. How deep does that run? And the detriment, is it something, say, but like when we say it has an impact, or is it really that much the impact of media when it comes to the image and when it comes to even the lives that you live on a daily basis as women?
Mm. No, are we back? You definitely aren't. Because Nyanike, we all know that we are almost in a technological era where everything is done on our phones, social media, and everything like that. And the way that we view ourselves, unfortunately, as women, we are people of affirmation. We are people of affirmation, and it's unfortunate now that we get our affirmation from media, social media, or magazines, or anything like that. And how they portray beauty, or how they portray attractiveness. Yeah, but it's always in a sexual way. So we always want to go towards that, because kaloko, the most beautiful women are the ones that show like a lot of breasts, or wear a certain way. So if I don't, then that means I'm not attractive. If I don't do this, if I don't like if I don't throw myself at guys, or if I don't, then I'm not attractive. I need to do this and all of that. And I think we do also need to go back to the root causes of gender-based violence. And where is it actually rooted? I think I mentioned socialization, and how we are raised, and how boys are taught to have entitlement over women's bodies. They're taught from a young age. And even, I would say, even in initiation schools, I won't dwell on that because obviously I'm a woman, I wouldn't know what actually goes down. But they're taught to have entitlement over women's bodies, and their manhood is proven through having power over women, or having that
and
power
just to
over women.
Get in.
And yes,
harmful
gender. Were you saying something? Sorry.
No, I was just saying. In fact, how you're saying, what really the socialization is one of the biggest problems. In fact, of how we are taught to really be entitled. And I'm just thinking really in the context of media as well. And you see the same narrative esikhuliswa that is wrong.
Yes.
It is actually perpetuated. So iyomelezo no, you are right, you're supposed to be, and then the detriment is that now it does not, because media, I care to you are a guy, so we're going to feed you this kind of information. It is put out there to everyone, so now it influences even some of our own sisters and women who are in our society, to such a point that sometimes if I meet you, Zubi, who says I don't stand entitlement over me, since I met 2 or 3 other ladies who have been affected or influenced by social media, by the media at large, to kind of like accept this wrong behavior of men. There's actors funny, whereas it's actually something wrong, but it's just that we have kind of like normalized the abnormal.
Yes, most definitely. And speaking on that as well, I think it really goes down to how we were brought up, and our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents. We see that abafazi or women, bebecinezelwa man, you know, in the sense that also they were objectified by their husbands. They were objects. And we can see this even now, Tobani. I can say this. But even now we see in our grandparents, ubana, kubo, it's normal. Yeah, it's normal. It has become normal. Nati, it was become normal for us to be objectified because that's how it's always been, and that's how I don't know. Yeah, that's how it's always been because we see it from our grandparents, we see it from our parents, and how our dads or our granddads treat like their wives and whatnot as objects, as people that are meant to just be in the kitchen or just to carry babies or just like sexual beings. They don't hold any value or have a say in anything that holds value. That's of importance. So those things, we grow up with them. And I did mention most of the fact that like media puts out the things that really like think and how our society is. Was a reflection of how we are. It's a reflection of what is happening in our society right now. So it's very like it's bad. It's really bad.
Wow, thank you so much for that. I want us to take a song break, and when we come back from this, I want you to think about this. We the question that I would have is that yipi eshifte enye, because you put an interesting point. Media actually reveals our own state of affairs as a society, as a nation. And I want to ask Sogoti, to a certain extent, doesn't sometimes media dictate to us some of izinto ezenzekayo in our society? Media, doesn't it have the power sometimes to create a culture? You talked about how today we are such a highly sexualized society, and I would want to think to myself, I wonder who would be as so sexualized as a society if we did not have the TV sets, if we did not have social media that we have today. But think about it, and when we come back from the song, we are going to continue with the conversation.
All right. Thank you. So media does play most of in raising awareness for gender-based violence, right? Because it sets the agenda, which gives it power to dictate what people see, hear, and shapes their attitudes towards different aspects of life, just in general. Okay, so I think that like the media's core theme should be about speaking out. On education on gender-based violence issues and leading dialogues, like on coming up with solutions and ideas on prevention and care. Because we are at this point now that we are in a technological era where everything is on the media and social media platforms, TV, and everything like that. So they should be using their power that they're having right now for the good, because we're here right now. And also they should be taking the lead, man, in breaking the silence, Tobani, or on gender-based violence. And not only when there's a case that's reported, but like they must raise awareness of this, raise up these conversations, and not only when there's like a dramatic thing that has happened, just because they want viewers, just because they want that attention, and then they pass when that thing has died down. But it must be a constant conversation, and and people must be educated. I feel like even men, there should be education that's also directed at men also, and not just women, because I feel like most of these educations are always directed at women. Fine, I feel like there's been so many talks, Tobani, there's been so many seminars that women have held, that women have done, and I feel like civile Tina, but what about the men? Men are not taking initiative
and
in doing these
who are
talks,
doing this.
Yes, the people that are actually doing this, they're not like, you hear them just speaking on the side and being like, no, but you're wrong or land or whatever, you know. But at the same time, when their friends are doing it, they're saying nothing. They keep quiet. You know, so which means that they are supporting this. So yeah, there needs to be more of programs for men, led by men also. You know, not led by women, led by men. You know, to teach and educate themselves on how to treat women, and maybe to just even change their way of thinking and viewing women, because people can say now, but like men can say, no, I respect women, I would never do this, but they contradict themselves in their own personal spaces and whatnot. So those honest conversations need to be had also, you know, by men. So media is definitely a tool of change. So they should start being a tool of change, basically.
And you
even
know,
in our TV program.
You know, Glenda, that you are saying, you know, how sometimes media, in fact, I know that we are also part of media as Radio 537, but one of the things that kind of like, it makes me to boil inside how we always want to go with what is in the moment right now, and soon after that disappears. Now it's no longer taken care of. And I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine and said, I don't even understand why is there so much you know, focus and emphasis when it comes to only numbers, as if it doesn't translate to numbers, it's not important. Because sometimes you know, these media houses, you know, even news outlets, they cater to this story that have to do with gender-based violence only when there is that season and that hype that they know they will get numbers, they will get viewers when they tell this certain story. So if we can journey to that point whereby we no longer care about the value of a human life, to such a point that ingathi lento lena that is happening to our sisters, to our mothers, asikhathalelanga, whereas it's a pandemic on its own. So that's just my own, you know, observation, and something that if I see and I don't want to go, you know, to go into that. But I really don't know from here on forward, what can we do as a society, what can we do as a people, because now we find ourselves in a position whereby I feel as if sometimes we are kind of like ignoring that soft voice within each and every person. Because I'm certain, man, no matter how terribly socialized you have been, but soze maninga bikho that talks to you, to what you are doing is wrong. And you touched on the fact that as well, you know, as men, as guys, you know, as males, we don't talk about these things in our circles. You know, see, no, is our I'm going to just type it on social media, and we don't want to talk about it in our own corners. The question would be, what do you think we can do moving forward from here to kind of like remedy the situation that we find ourselves in as a society, and, you know, kind of like bring ourselves to a point whereby media does not negatively influence us, but rather positively influences us towards change?
We have direct control, I think, firstly on our social media accounts and platforms, you know, over what we choose to share, firstly, and what we choose to say, on our social media. We have direct control over that. We cannot control what the media puts out and whatnot, but we have control over what we respond to that. Because if we retaliate to those things, okanye, we show disinterest in those things, then obviously they will stop, when we all come together. And unity, if anything is done with unity, there's so much power in unity. If we can stand together just as a nation, as people, you know, and in standing against gender-based violence and standing against all of these things, you know, I think we can achieve so much. You know, what are we promoting on our social media platforms? I think it's a big question that all of us right now, even the viewers, the listeners, listening, should be asking themselves. what are we promoting on our social media platforms, on your accounts and whatnot? What are you promoting? Look at the content that you're sharing. Look at the content that you're writing. What is it that you are promoting? Are you part of the problem? Are you part of the solution of gender-based violence as well? Sometimes you might think that, no, I'm against gender-based violence and whatnot, but the content that you're putting out, or sometimes by keeping quiet, you are also supporting it, because silent does mean consent. And I think I realized recently as well, sometimes I can say, no, but I didn't say anything, so like I'm not supporting it. But by not saying anything, that is supporting it. Or that is like the fact that you're keeping quiet is the problem.
Sure.
Why are you not saying anything about things that are affecting us, And now I'm guilty of that. I'm not putting it away from myself. I am very much guilty from that. And I think even you inviting me to this talk, it helped me to ask myself questions as well, have an self-introspection on, hey, what am I promoting on my social media platforms? Why am I so quiet about issues that affect us, and only speak out when it's a movement, maybe even overseas, hashtag this, when it's done in America, then now, okay, yeah, just because it's done in America and all those countries and whatnot, then now it's important. But it's important every day, because it affects us each and every day. Yeah, so we also need to be having these conversations in our personal spaces, in our group of friends, even at church. At church, we need to be having these conversations. We need to be having these important conversations, because we shy away from izinto ezinje and spiritualize so many things, whereas these are the things that affect people, and they don't find comfort, or they don't find that they can get a solution within the church. So they suffocate in these things, whereas they should be getting help. So Kwatina, we must be speaking about these things. We should be helping each other and promoting or encouraging our fellow peers to speak about these things, and to be comfortable to speak to us or to their friends or whoever that they're close to, without feeling like they're going to be judged or ostracized, or like there's going to be a label. And lastly, I would say to parents, people that have children, guys, people that have children, teach the girl and boy child about such topics at a young age, before they go out and learn about it. Because let me tell you something, they are going to learn about these things one way or the other. If you don't teach them, the world is going to teach them. So rather take the control and teach your child right now in your household. Expose them to what is sex, how is it supposed to be, and all of those stuff before they find out themselves, or from other kids at school, from other people, from social media. Because my little sister is 10 years old and she has a phone, and I can't say that she's not exposed to these things. I might think that she's too young, to know about these things. But I mean, social media is there. She's already learning about
that's the reality.
Things. So we should be taking, yes, that's the reality of things. So we should be taking matters in our hands, into our own hands, and educating our children, educating our loved ones, at home, of what is it that is right, before they are perverted by the world and how media has shaped it. So that's what I would say.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much. Basically, what I've taken from what you're saying, Guti, especially the last part, Guti, we should not be abantu responder to a problem. Rather, we should be proactive in how we, approach this situation. I remember Trevor Noah, as we're about to go, in his book, Born a Crime, umama wake would sit him down like almost all the time, from time to time. So this is how you treat a woman. If if you say you love a woman, you don't treat her like this, you don't treat her like this, you treat her like this, you talk to her like this. A woman wants this, and this is what I would love from you if you were married to me, and all those type of things. And Uti, and at that time, growing up as a young boy, Uti, those were just cringe-worthy conversations where Mama would teach her even about how to approach a lady, how to, accept rejection from a lady, and what not to do when you coming across Indomazane. All those type of things. These are just cringe-worthy. Why are you talking me about these things? Now, later on, he kind of says, like, I do appreciate and value everything that my mother has taught me when it comes to women. And now, today, I know, Guti, I am able to speak out, knowing, Guti, I was taught very well, and my life today has turned out to be the way that it is because of it teaching. So, just to really concur with what you're saying, it is really important even for parents, and basically even saying I call me to abazali bethu, because now we are going to be the next generation of abazali. This is what we should be doing in the next 5-10 years to come. So Zubi, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you and all of that? What are you currently busy with and so forth? And the papa is
Oh, hey guys, thank you so much, firstly, Tobani, for having me. I really enjoyed being here. Thank you so much. And everyone that has listened and is listening right now, thank you so much. And I hope everyone, it has sparked a few questions and challenged them to really introspect on certain things. So you can catch me on my YouTube channel, firstly, which is Zubenathi Mkondo. And you can catch me on my social media platforms. Facebook, I am Zubenathi Zubi Mkondo. And on Instagram, I am Zubenathi_Mkondo. Yes. So yeah, that's me. Basically.
Alright, beautiful. Your parting shots nokupapayisa nje bakhaya emakhaya kubonke abantu ababulisa abahleliyo bebekumamele Kloa na Kloa, just to say goodbye.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, firstly, guys, to everyone, and I really hope that you guys are challenged to really take a stand against gender-based violence by not just saying it and posting it on your social media platforms, but really living it out and really practicing it in your social spaces, in your personal spaces and whatnot. So be the change that you want to see. We hear that all the time, but really be the change. It's everything just starts with you, and not blaming other people that are external factors, but rather take the opportunity to be the solution.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you for joining us, taking your time to be here. I know that it's an incident and you're quite busy, but you took the time, and thank you so much for bringing light to such a great conversation. And up until next time, I'm sure it won't be the last time, Auntie Tumos.
Most definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So Puma Power from a great conversation with Zubenathi Mkondo. Thank you for that conversation.